So today I thought I'd take the time to tell you how a coin is made, because I'm going to make videos on mint errors and varieties, famous ones. Some aren't that famous, errors and varieties, some of them aren't that famous. So those will not be in the videos or video, but today I thought I'd tell you how a coin is made, so you would know how those errors happen, and so I wouldn't have to explain it in that video. So let's get into the video. So how a coin is made: first they melt down all the metal. Let's say that they're making, this is back in 64 and they're still making coins out of silver. Okay, they're making quarters. Let's just say that. Okay, so they take all the raw silver, they melt it down into bars, and then they put it through this roller machine that there's two rollers, and it goes through and it squishes the bar so it makes it thinner. And then they do it again and it gets thinner. And then when it gets the thin enough, the thickness of the coin, then they put it through a punching machine that punches out blanks, little discs of metal out of that sheet of metal, more like strip. It's a strip. So they put all the blanks in a bin, and then they feed all the blanks into the milling machine, which upsets the rim of the blank. It's not a planchet yet. A planchet is just a blank coin, but the rim is upset, but it's not upset yet. Like, it's not raised above the rest of the coin yet. So they put it through this machine, and basically there's like a notch on this wheel, and then a wall around the wheel, another notch, and then the blank is in there, and it kind of like rolls the coin and then kind of squishes it so it upsets the rim. And that's how they all go through there, and then they're all planchets. That's what a planchet's called. Okay, so then they put all the planchets in a bin. And then let's go to a different area now. So then when the artist designs the coin, well, he carves it out on this clay plate thing. Well, like a plate with clay on it. And then they just like carve it out with a special tool. And so then they put it on a reducing lathe. And the reducing lathe, what it does is it scans that clay thing. And this is kind of just what I know. I'm not really sure if this is exactly how a coin is made, but this is pretty much how a coin is made. So it's on the reducing lathe, and what it does is it scans that sculpture thing that the artist made for the coin after it was approved by the government, and then they scan that, and then it goes into the machine in the computer, and then it reduces it to the size of the coin, so that size. And then what they do, well, that piece of metal that they carved it on, that's called a hub. Or the master die. A die, I'll get to that later, it's very close. So the hub or master die, they harden it by putting it in a furnace, and it gets hardened. Then while these other tubes of metal that are like necked in like a shell casing, they're kind of necked in, but they're not hollow. Of course, they're not hollow. The opposite of hollow. Solid, yeah. They're solid, but they're flat on the top. And so they stamp that onto the... Okay, well, the die is already soft. It's not hardened yet. And so the hub is hard and the die is soft, so they stamp it on the hub, and then that leaves a negative imprint. So that's concave. Yeah, concave, not convex. So it's concave. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like it's the opposite of how the design of a coin is raised. It's not raised. It's the opposite. It's down in, not raised. So it's convex or in, inverted. And so they so after that they take the die. And well, first of all, there's the reverse die and the obverse die. The obverse of a coin is the front and the reverse is the back. So they have two dies actually, because there's two designs on a coin on either side. So then they put that into the stamping machine. They put all the planchets into the stamping machine. They feed them in, or maybe the machine feeds them in after they put them in a hopper. I'm not sure, but anyway, so they put them all in, and I used to think that coins were struck horizontal like this, but actually they're struck vertical like that. So the two dies, they put it in the machine. That, like, there's a thing that clamps around, I'm assuming, around the die that holds the die like this, and so it clamps it down like that onto the planchet that makes an upset, or a convex or raised design, as opposed to a convex or inverted or design. So then the dies strike the planchet, and then the planchet becomes a coin. And you're probably asking, well, how did the coins get that reeded edge, as they call it? Well, the reeded edge, like on a quarter, here, I'll be right back. Well, I've got a $50 here, which has a reeded edge too. See, of course, you see every day that the quarters, dimes, and $50. Well, usually you don't run into $50, but those do have a reeded edge too, like this. See, there's a bunch of bumps around the edge, like that, and that. And how they make that is, well, first of all, the reason why they put it on is for two reasons. First reason is because back before our country made coins legally, like officially, I mean, in the colonial era, and before, well, after we were a country, but before we had our own coins, people used to, the edge used to be just flat, like plain, like a penny or a nickel. So they used to shave off the edges of the coin and then because they were still made out of silver back then and gold. So they saved up their shavings, either melted them down or just sold them the way they were, and made money out of money. So, but of course that was illegal. So that's what the people at the mint, after we made our own coins, they came up with the reeded edge, as you see today. And that was back in 1792, I think, that they started that. And so the way the reeded edge is made is because, well, in the machine there's this like kind of band with holes in it for the planchets. And I think that strip of metal that the planchets are in, I think it actually has a reeded edge on the outside, in the inside of the hole where the planchet fits in. And the planchet, of course, is smaller than the coin itself, because it's basically like swooshing clay in a disc. It expands like that, So when the planchet goes in there, it's not as big as the coin, and then they squish it, and then it goes, all the metal goes into those cracks, and then the reeded edge, the bumps are made after the coin is struck on both sides. And I think they're struck on both sides at the same time. And then all those are put into bins or and then bags or rolls, and shipped to the Federal Reserve Bank. And then the Federal Reserve ships it to commercial banks, like banks we know today. And that's how coins are made. So this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if I'm terrible at explaining stuff, but sometimes I just freeze up on camera. But please subscribe or leave a like or comment. Sorry if I'm terrible at this, but I haven't been recording for that long, so give me a break. Just kidding. Well, I'm serious, I guess, but in a good way, not in a bad way. Okay, well, this brings the video to a close. I hope you like my new intro. That was at the beginning, of course. In the future, I'll probably make an outro, or maybe I'll put one on this video. I don't know. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy my channel in the future. Bye.